All right, what's up, everybody? Today is another church originally that I was going to Bible studies on Wednesdays, but again, like I said, it doesn't last because then when I found out, when I asked them about the women's group, they said they had one. Anyhow, so we're gonna talk about this. This is kind of important to me. The title of this is going to be, excuse me just a moment, um, walk in the authority, walk in the authority of walk in the authority which was invested in you. And like I said, I haven't been on here too much talking about much because, like I said, this is supposed to be the season of silence for me. Normally, like I said, I try to fellowship with other people in person. That way, I'm not broadcasting everything online because you never know who's watching, who's seeing. I remember, when I was doing the TikTok thing, everybody was saying, oh, they were just really making the comments that, hey, people are watching and they don't mean you well and they're doing this, that, and the other. But um, walk in the authority that was invested in you. When we think about that phrase, it means a lot. The authority that was invested in you. What was the authority that was invested in you? Christ died, to make that investment in us, right? And so, what brought this about for me today? I'm going throughout my day. I had a lot of things happen over the past week. Since last Thursday, I've literally had demons chasing me. So today, I saw all these different things happening back to back. I didn't pay any attention. So I got to the end of my day. I got to the gym. My plan was, go check to see if I had any mail, so forth and so on. So, get a good workout in, take a shower, plan the rest of my day, charge my phone so I could go get my replacement earbuds, this, that, and the other. So let me tell you what happened. So I got to the gym yesterday, a couple of days ago. I guess I have to rewind back to last Thursday. So last Thursday, I went to this. It's just everything just is so much altogether. But anyhow, I take classes downtown Valdosta, right? And with me taking classes in downtown Valdosta, I said, well, hey, I need to do laundry. There was one place that was allowing you to do the laundry, but then, I was like, well, I just do my own laundry. So I found a place. It was a bit of a walk. I had my big cart with my laundry, my lunch, my office in a bag, all of that stuff, because, I wanted to make sure if I kind of pack like I'm moving in, right? So I had everything I needed. And, there was a church that was down that way that I wanted to visit, but I like the little teeny tiny churches for some reason because you get to know the people better, right? Um, but whenever I went, it seemed like nobody was there. I didn't even know if the churches actually had service. And then the people that was in the neighborhood that saw me, when they see me coming, they would duck into the house. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't ask them like, "Hey, do y'all people see churches out here?" Some guy that I met was just telling me, "Hey, why don't you just knock on the door?" And I'm like, "I'm not knocking on nobody's door because I don't like when people do that to me." So I never knew. Then one night, and this is so ironic. So many things happened at once. This was March 1st, actually. I think that was a Thursday. Yep, it was a Friday. Last Friday was March 1st. It was a no, so it had to be the 29th then. Okay, so it was the 29th. So I was coming back from washing clothes, right? And when I was in the laundry room, there was a girl that was in there. She was only 24. She was so vibrant and she was honest about her sins, okay? But she was so vibrant and she wore me out. She reminded me a lot of me. And it got to the point where I was so worn out that I was just like, comatose. And not that I didn't like her and not that she had a great personality. It was just a lot for me, right? And I think she might have caught on to it because then she deadened down too, right? So she might have been like, oh, she ain't really feeling me like that, right? And it wasn't that, it was just so much, right? And I couldn't couldn't stay with it, it wasn't clean, been walking around all day with this cart and going to classes and everything. So when she deadened down, I had gotten everything done and I went to the bathroom, to tidy up and whatever. And I was in there and I noticed somebody tried to open the door and I was like, somebody's in here. And then when I came out, there was some people that were there that weren't washing clothes. So long story short, they ended up stealing like all my earbuds and um, did they steal my earbuds? No, they didn't steal my earbuds, but the guy made a comment, whatever. So I didn't know if they had went through my stuff. It come to my earbuds, I think, were in my fanny pack, and my fanny pack got stolen, but not at the laundry place. So as I was leaving laundry, there was a Black History program that was supposed to be at a library that had a grand opening recently. I met the lady that does a lot with that, and I was so impressed by her. And a lot of her family actually takes some of the classes that I go to. And I didn't know what day the dinner was, so I figured I must have missed it, whatever. But lo and behold, there's like a pantry or something over there, and I always check it because snacks on the way home, why not? Free, right? So I went to check the pantry with my little rolly cart, and I was doing good. I had benefits and whatever, so grabbing some food, whatever. But as I walked back that way to check the pantry, I saw all the cars in front of the library. So I was like, okay, they must be having something here. And then lo and behold, they were having the Black History dinner program. And I was like, here I am with this big old cart. Luckily, I had on all black because I kind of blended in, but still. And so I'm like, what am I going to do with this cart? And I was like, I'll just tell them, hey, I was on my way back from laundry. Um, you know, let me tell you about my spirit, right? My spirit when I was in the laundry room, with the girl, I was okay. Then I became overwhelmed because it was so much. Then next with the people that was like not washing clothes but just using the bathroom and stuff like that, I was suspicious of them because then the guy tried to make it like he knew me. And this is where God put me in check because he was just like, oh, you finally decided to come out. And that made me suspicious of him because I was like, maybe he's trying to make people think that he knows me because they stole something out of my stuff, right? So anyhow, so I'm like, okay, whatever. But they were just using the bathroom. Come to find out in the long run, and so I was mad about that, and I was giving them the eyeball, and then the other people that was regular people in there, they were probably thinking, she don't hardly speak or whatever. If something happened to her stuff, ain't nobody gonna be able to say nothing, right? Whatever. But I just left. I didn't say bye, nothing. Even to the girl that was like really overjoyed. It's not because I didn't like her, just because she wore me out. I didn't have any energy to say or do anything else. So when I came by, like I said, I passed by. There's so many different players and so many different stories in here. I passed by, and there's a lady in this place that I go to wash clothes. I actually like them. They're run by Indian people, and usually, I don't know, my older age, because I'm more blackish, I've had some experiences, of isms, not just possibly racism, but socioeconomic classism. That's a big thing these days for me, right? you know and it's not just what you look like or how you dress, but it's how you carry yourself and allow people to treat you that tells where and when I got there, remember how I went to the city council meeting last year and I met these people that were supposed to be my mentors and all this, and everybody that I came across during the paths that I was doing, I came across again. And the thing was, I thought I had everything set in stone. I had everything planned out for this week, the next week, my marketing materials and all that stuff. And everything went to bust so easy. And then because like I said, my spirit was bad when I was looking at those people that was coming in to use the bathroom on me. Then when I came out, my spirit, I said, okay, well, I'm not interacting with anybody, but my face is all balled up, so you can see my spirit was still bad. And God was like, "No, that's not what I have planned for you. This is where you're supposed to be." So I went to the Black History thing, and I saw where I was supposed to be and how I was supposed to get accolades. And a lot of times they're looking for people to give accolades too that don't really deserve them. You know what I'm saying? There were people that didn't show up, and one of the people that didn't show up, I happened to walk past another day, and I heard the conversation. They own a funeral home, and you can imagine it's not what you think at all. But so it was just so ironic that I ran into all these people that when I was doing my Christian connection and trying to do all these different things that I ran into. So much has happened. Like I said, there's so much to talk about. But again, the trying to stick with the focus of, walking in authority invested in you. So I'm trying to bring it all current to today. As quickly as I can. So, I went to in the church that I was looking for or trying to go to, like I said, every time I walked past, lights weren't on. It really looked like it was abandoned. I didn't even know if they really had church anymore. But I just happened to walk past at 7:25 p.m. The sign said the church had church at 7:30, but I know that nowadays after COVID, people are going early and stuff like that. So I didn't know, but the lights were actually on. So I stopped in, me and my huge cart of laundry, and my office in a bag, and my lunch in a bag, and all that stuff, right? And so I left the cart outside because I said, well, it wouldn't be appropriate to bring all that in. And as I was sitting in there, I really kind of enjoyed the fellowship. And this is why I'm doing this tonight because I didn't get a chance to fellowship tonight because I did not walk in the authority that was invested in me. I allowed myself to be taken everywhere but the right way. So some of the key verses that we're going to talk about today is Ephesians, I think it's 4, where it says, "Walk worthy of the vocation with which you're held, with with which you are called." Let me see. Um, it's I therefore the Ephesians 4:1. I therefore the prisoner of the Lord beseech you that you walk worthy of vocation of the vocation wherewith you are called. And again, we are to walk in the authority of that was invested in us, the blood of Christ. So we all work for God, and if we're not taking care of Christ that is fully alive within us, remember Easter is coming up soon, or I don't know if it's already here. I don't know exactly when it is, but the thing about Easter is it's supposed to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. Christ is not dead; He lives with us, right, within us. And there's a song, and this is so annoying. I'm gonna do it anyway. The song asks, like it's bad. It's in Spanish, but basically it asks, if some, I'm dirty, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. I'm just like, no, I'm not. I'm fully alive, And I had on a shirt that actually said "fully alive" that someone bought from me at a church and I think somewhere in Orlando, Central Florida area, Northland Church or something. And I remember I was mad at them because I said, "You spent $20 on this T-shirt for me," But it was so bright and vibrant. It said "Fully Alive," and I didn't know the meaning of it until the Bible study that I went to, and the guy kept saying how he was dead and dirty in Christ, and I was just like, "I'm not dead. I'm not. I'm fully alive," and I realized that's what it meant. That Christ is not dead, he's fully alive in us, right? And so, knowing that he's fully alive in us, we must walk in the authority that was invested in us because we are housing Christ inside of us. Why would you take Christ somewhere that's, spiritually dirty, somewhere that the Spirit of God is not being respected inside of you, and all of those things, right? So the thing that brought me to that today, like I said, coming back to the gym. So I got to the gym. My contract, I worked here for a little bit, and then there was a lot of unscrupulous things that happened. Like I think they intentionally, my contract was paid in cash in full, right? And then they said they couldn't find a contract that when you leave and I was like, wait a minute, my membership isn't tied to my employment. It's completely separate. So the guy was nice enough to at least write it back to what the original was. And then when I told him everything I went through, I don't know if he did it, somebody else did it, I don't know who did it, but actually there was an actual couple of months added to it. So I should be good for a few more months, right? And so I was like, good. But then I asked for a just a simple statement that Maria Willoughby does not work here, does not work at such and such, aka Crunch Fitness, you know, and that's all I wanted because all that other information is not necessary, right? And so I guess they thought that maybe I was going to do something as a grievance, and so they said, "Well, we'll do a separation letter." Separation letter was like, "Oh, because she couldn't get to work." No, I could get to work. I just didn't come because I was being bullied and harassed. I was at work and I left, So it's just old, or somebody has the gumption of to feel that they could there's, you know, people that are being bullied, they're not going to take any legal action for the most part. And that's, like I said, the nonprofit I was talking about, that's one of the things to give a voice, not necessarily to take legal action, but to convict people, but convict people spiritually, that, hey, that's not the right thing to do, right? So it's to give people a voice. But the thing about it is when I came, I knew that because I asked him for that information, instead of giving me what I wanted, he tried to give me everything else. And then I made it a point to address it in writing because I don't like to go over things over and over again. And so I knew that there was going to be some retaliation, and there was. And today, after I came back from all my outings, came back to the gym, and he was just like, "Oh, you have to rewrite your membership. It was expired on this date." I said, "No, it's not. It's expired on X date." You know. And then, I said, "Well, let me go home and get my contract, right?" Which really wasn't necessary because, of course, if I have the contract, they have the contract because it's in their system and that's how I got it. But, just to make sure that I had it in writing in front of me, I went home and got it, right? So I went home, got the contract, came back. It clearly said the date that it expired. So, as far as walking in an authority that's invested in you, okay, I think I did the right thing by going home and get the contract, because if I didn't, if I told them to pull it up, they could say that it was anything, so I think that was the right thing to do. But here's where I went wrong. I was so thankful that I was like, hey, remember when you asked me did I want to rewrite my contract? I said, yes, yes. The answer is yes, I do. But let's go ahead and make sure that it's rewritten with the additional months for next year. And I said, but I want to make sure, and I want to pay it in full in cash, just so I have no problem with it, right? And I want to make sure that it shows clearly what the expiration date is in the contract. He said, yeah, well, so this is where I messed up. This is where I did not walk in the authority invested with me, and there's high authority, the blood of Christ. And I'll tell you about the glasses in a minute. So, the girl, he told the girl to do it, and I was suspicious at that point, because I was like, she gonna get everything wrong. But she went ahead and she put everything together. She's actually assistant manager. She put everything together, and she was just like, sign here, sign here, sign here. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm not seeing what I'm signing, but I'm like, okay, I'm signing, because I'm thinking, okay, we confirmed verbally, and I should have known, because they showed me the first time yesterday when I told them all I needed was a simple statement, and they wanted to give me all this other information that I didn't know. They don't care. They're young, whatever. So, when I go and I tell her, well, I need it, can you give me a printed copy of the contract, and also email it to me? She was like, oh, you want me to do both? Why can't you just print it at home? And I was just like, yeah, because I want to see what I just signed, because I, in good faith, went and signed all of that. And I also want an email copy so that I have access to it. So she printed out the copy, and when she printed it out, it didn't have the correct expiration date on it. She was like, "Oh, well, it's in the." She went and got the general manager and said, he said, "Oh, it's in the notes." But if I'm looking at this contract and I clearly can't see the correct date on it, that means that a staff member can clearly not see the correct date on it. I just bought you a contract with the right date on it, and you looked at it. You tried to debunk it. So if it's clearly not on, and it was clearly on there, so that's where I did not walk within the authority that was invested in me. And again, saying that means that you have to take care of yourself, because Christ lives in you. I did the right thing, even though it took extra effort to go home and get the contract, but I did the wrong thing when I rewrote the contract and signed everything without looking. A lot of times we like to give people feel comfortable, but again, you're not walking in the authority that Christ gave you, invested in you, because you are willing to sign these things to make someone else feel comfortable without looking. We're too grown for that, and that shouldn't happen. Now, what made me think about this is on the way home to get the contract, I walked past this field. Now, I buy all these little glasses from Dollar Tree because I lose them all the time. With my living situation, I lose them all the time. I'm walking somewhere, I trip over something, the glasses fall. I think I put them in the bag. Actually, I dropped them outside the bag. And these are my glasses. I happen upon them, and they happen to be red. And when I thought about that, the authority that walk in the authority that Christ invested in you. This is the authority that Christ invested in me, is the blood of Christ. Died for our sins, whole life, and He's supposed to be living again within me. So if I know that, even though a lot of us are raised to be humble, a lot of us are raised to be humble, and to always do the right thing, and always try to make everything nice and friendly, we also need to be able to stand firm and walk worthy of the vocation wherewith we are called, which is to house the Spirit of Christ. And we can't do that worthily if we are allowing ourselves to be walked all over, you know in hopes that people will be nice to us. You know what I'm saying? And so I needed to call myself out on that, because that was really inappropriate of me to sign those documents without looking at them, knowing that they get the stuff wrong all the time, intentionally on purpose. And the general manager even said to me, when I told him, oh, the contract doesn't have the right information on it, he said, well, you didn't want the contract, from, whatever the other notice he was trying to give me when I was telling him the simple statement. And I said, sir, I'm already done with that. I said, we're talking about the contract for our membership here, you know? So that's the thing. We have to walk worthy, and sometimes it's not easy, because we got to get rid of our old ways. My old way is I love appeasing people. I love, because I feel like if I'm being super nice and super humble, you'll see that I'm harmless. Because sometimes some of us are intimidating, because if we walk a certain path a certain way, you can intimidate people without even knowing it. And so you try to overcompensate for that by being super nice, over conscientious. But, that's not okay. You have to walk worthy. And the other verse, again, Ephesians 6:10 through 8, God, you know. And I think about that, and I look at other people when I see that perhaps they haven't put on the full armor, but we have to do that for ourselves, you know. And I think I did good. I had a lot of fiery darts thrown at me all day long today. I noticed them, but it was just like Wonder Woman, psh, psh, psh. You know. Okay, it's there, it's gone, keep it moving. But going back to that church, so I got to the church, and when I got to the church and I went in, I left my stuff outside. Then eventually, and I was wondering, should I bring this in? Because I got stuff in there that's valuable to me. But I was like, nobody's gonna walk up to the church and take my whole rolling cart. You know what I'm saying? So, but then this girl walked in, right? Here's the demon story. So the girl walked in, and it's like an apostolic church. You know, if you grew up holding this, you know. And it was only a couple people in there. There was an older woman, maybe 30 years older than me, older man, 30, 40 years. Everybody's older, except there was one girl that might have been younger than me, like maybe late 20s, early 30s. And then there was another lady that looked like my age that was doing a Bible study, right? And so she said she didn't know what verse she was going to do. And I told my testimony about how, God told me, hey, pick it up because my face was all tight and I was all upset and I was all angry about, you know, that these people probably stole something out of my bag. They didn't steal anything. The church, let me tell you about the church. And then, because I was all tight faced, God prevented me from saying something rude to those people because the girl that had that vibrant personality that was in the spirit, and it was like a cookie cutter of me telling people, random people she loved them and stuff like that, right? And then, that kept me from saying something bad to those folks. But then I noticed my face is still tight. And what got me out of that was God was telling me, hey, you know, you're that's not who you need to be. Because I was thinking, if I see them in the street, I'm gonna tell them they took my stuff, you know. But God was like, no, no, that's not who I raised you up to be. That's not the plans that I have for you, right? So um, that's when He reintroduced me to myself again through all these people that I ran into last year when I was trying so hard to campaign personally for what I was trying to do, right? All those people back, right? Speaking of which, just a little side note, they had this shirt that Pepsi, I think, had a shirt that they had put together for, um, I'm hungry now, but for Black History Month, and I thought to myself, they got them because on the back they have a blue fist, so all it said to me was Blue Lives Matter, and so but there was another shirt that I really liked that was created, and I don't have any need for it because I'm not gonna walk around wearing it. But it's a Black History 2024 shirt. It's purple, nice material, collared, polo style. And there's a couple of people, like I said, I've gone to places that distributed food that I think are worthy of that. One in for sure, and this other church, I think I might get a pastor. Let me tell you what happened. So go to this church. My stuff is outside. The girl comes in. I'm just like, oh, should I bring my cart inside? Because it's just as easy as this girl walked in. Somebody else can walk past and take the cart. And she was like, yeah, I'll bring it in for you. And I didn't think nothing of it. I'm thinking, church people, it's okay. Trust no one, y'all. So I think it's okay. She comes in, and then, eventually they start taking offerings for this church service. And I'm like, I can give $1 because for real, and I don't normally like to do that because I'm broke as a joke, but because it was a small church and I appreciated what they had, so I, got my little fanny pack and put my little dollar in there, which was 25% of what I had in there, right? And in that fanny pack, I had my driver's license, social security cards, gift cards, Abbott's card, if you know what I mean, and my earbuds. Why did I have my earbuds? I don't know. I don't know why I had my earbuds. Oh, because I had my computer and I was charging my computer and I was like, well, maybe I'll record something, whatever. And, you know, at the end of the night, the girl came late, right? She also left early. And I noticed her little boy was back and forth. She put the cart right where her boy was back and forth. So I was like, okay, fine. But I didn't think nothing of it. Everything looked secure to me. As I was leaving with my cart of stuff to go all the way over to the other side of town, I got hungry. I had a plate of food from that Black History Month program, and I really thought that we were going to sit after. It would have been nice if we all had dinner together and fellowship, but that's just not what happened. But as I gotta tell you about the Bible verse. That's the key part. So she didn't know what the Sunday school teacher or Thursday night teacher, whatever Bible study teacher, didn't know what she was gonna do. So I talked about my testimony about how I had this small nonprofit. I was trying to get it off the ground. I ran into all these people again this night where they were being honored, and I'm just kind of there, like I should be there, And there was a couple of other people that felt the same way because they went to the library and tried to promote, and I'm still gonna try to promote. I'm not gonna stop. But that's what my plan was, but kind of happened right now where, like I said, all the demons. I'll tell you about them. So everything was going real good for me. I had everything set up planned. Then as I was leaving, I got hungry. I stopped, and I ain't got no shame. I took my little container of food and I was eating it in front of the school on the way home. And then I was just like, okay, put it back, and then I kept going. But I realized something made me look, and I realized my fanny pack wasn't there. So I didn't know what happened to it. So I retraced all my steps and like really looked, but I didn't see my fanny pack. I looked hard and I didn't see it, and I was like, my mom went to, did a girl steal my fanny pack? You know, and but it was like after I went to that church, that little church, it was like so many things happened back to back. Like I never had problems with like weird men approaching me or anything like. Somebody say something, but then they'll go. But I had a situation where when I went back, I forgot why I went there. I think it was another day, and I went when I'm in that area. I always stop by the pantry to see if there's anything in there. And as I was walking past, oh, I know why I went back because I had dropped some T-shirts and I was looking for them. And there was this guy. It was really, he looked really kind in the face, heavy set, older guy, kind of rosy cheeks with black. And he looked at me, and I thought he was kind of slow or whatever in a daze. So I waved at him, and I didn't think nothing of it. I thought he would just wave back, and that would be it, right? But he got this look on his face. And he was like, "Oh, you a female?" And I was just like, I didn't say anything, And he was like, "That's a female." And so he was like, "Can I walk with you?" And I was like, "No." I shook my head no and kept going. And the part about it, remember those Indian people that I was telling you about at the store? The Indian lady had come out. They were getting ready to leave, her and her family members, male family members. And I could tell, I could feel that she was, in her heart, she was looking out for me or feeling for me. But it was like also she wanted to mind her business, because of course, you can't take care of the whole world. That's kind of how it was, right? So, um, so he really started following me like a spirit, like just like behind me, and he wasn't leaving. And I was just like, well, I'm tracking him. And then what happened was when I went to the pantry, I think the pantry is like in a little doctor office area, so maybe he thought I worked there or something, and that's when he left up. But he was watching me from across the street, and I did a couple of other things and ducked him. But I never had any situation where somebody would just follow me like that. And then on the way back, some more, but again, that's a bad part of town. It's close to where I used to live at, right? When I walked up, there was some guy that was yelling at me from a dark porch. And again, I don't know if it was an abandoned house, so I don't know what the deal was. And so as I walked past, I guess on the way back, he came out and he had on like this leather. It's got to be like midnight now, right? It was late. This leather. He was dressed up like he was going somewhere, but he wasn't going anywhere because he was standing on the porch yelling at people walking past, right? So as I'm walking, he said something to me when I walked past, and then something told me to stop, because then he starts walking, and I was like, and I was stopping, so he think, if she lives here, whatever. So I was like, "Sir, I don't know you. You don't know me. I'd like to keep it that way." I've had so many weird things happen after that situation, and it's like I don't want to go back to that church. It's like, how they talk about sometimes the black churches, the old black churches are connected to like hoodoo. And if you don't know what hoodoo is, it's like the African American version of voodoo, right? And so it's just weird. Like I've had so many weird things happen, like back to back, and then like like because I knew what was happening, I stopped taking account of them because I just like, oh, that's just the devil. Like even, I mean, it was just one thing after the other today, but all that stuff didn't matter to me until I got to the gym. And the gym didn't even matter to me until I got back and I saw how I did not walk in the authority, even though that was the phrase. And I got this phrase from that church actually because I was asking them. I met this guy too that was telling me it's a church a couple doors down that he donated like $4,000 to them. The pastor never acknowledged that he donated it. He just wanted something that said so he could get his tax write off, right? And then eventually, because he pushed, the pastor only acknowledged that he received 1,000, but he actually received 4,000, and the donation was made so that to help his kids too, the guy that put the kids in. So I don't know, but I had so many things just go wrong back to back, like, and then so many things go right. So it was almost like, Pastor Troy had, and I met this, well, I knew this guy already, but I kind of had a real conversation with him the other day. How Pastor Troy said, and that's the rapper, if heaven was hell and vice versa, right? It's almost like, I get put through this test and then something good happens. This test, I didn't do as well as on the other ones. Like, when the guy tested me about the contract, I went and got the contract. But when it came to the point where they took the money out of my account, okay, but it was my fault because I went ahead and I signed. I should have, made it clear that, hey, I don't trust you people. I want to trust people. I want to love people, but I don't trust you people. I need to see this contract and look at it, right? So, so now, it's pending for me to get the money back, whatever. Which is good, it's resolvable. But it's like you want people to be happy. You want to love people so much. And I've seen also, like I said, I've seen a lot of things over the past week or so that's been like absolutely like I don't experience these kind of things while this is happening. But then I've also seen things out of kindness and people actually looking out for me. At least that's my perception. Um, where somebody tried to take a picture, but I took a picture of this spot too because I was curious as to you know, what can and cannot be done at this location. But I saw the guy take a picture, and there was a woman either that was with him or just happened to be close in proximity, and she darn near cursed. She saw him. She looked at him like that, like don't be taking pictures. And then I had a situation here where, like I said, the management. I think the assistant manager has a little thing where it's nothing pointed directly to a person, but she has a certain thing against certain persons that she perceived to be under another socioeconomic class. I'll put it that way. But she said something, and there was a girl that was there that was at the desk, and she looked at her, gave her a look like. So God definitely has His angels watching over me, but again, walking, and that's the question that I asked. How when these churches are so evil, how. And it's like the evil got them bound. They can't even say anything. You see something wrong, you can't speak on it. And one of the ladies, and I've met two people already that have claimed to be prophetess, yeah, and they actually are. And because the things that they said were true, these are things that I haven't shared with anybody. So it is what it is. But um, she said a whole lot, right? And basically, she was like, "Well, you sit in the midst of that evil because God put you there. Walk with the." And then the pastor jumped in and said, "Walk in the authority of the investment that was made in you." And that's so important. The authority of the investment that was made in you, the blood of Christ, fully alive. You know. Um, so I have to remember that. In times when, I want so much, and sometimes that's the problem. We want so much to be approved and approved by and respected by other people or loved by or seen for who we are. But if people want to see you, they're going to see you. If they want to misunderstand, they're going to misunderstand. And our goal should not be to seek the approval of those people, but again, to walk worthy of the investment that was made in us, to acknowledge the fact that, there was a great investment made in us, you know, through the death and the resurrection of Christ within us. But anyhow, so that's it. And the reason I wanted to share this so bad again, because I know that I fell short today. But like my little design here says, sometimes we go through things, and that was one of the reasons that I started the nonprofit, and I need to work on that too. Like everything, when I say everything went wrong, I'm remembering some of it now. I came here to work out this morning. My computer, I was supposed to teach a class. I mean, just just so much stuff. My computer started acting up. Now it's okay, And so it's like God keeps letting these things happen, and in the same note that He lets them happen, He lets the fix to them happen too. You just have to be patient, have faith, and trust. Just so many things. Like even though I had that contract with the right stuff, they were looking for something to make it invalid. you know, and they really could have just made something up because who gonna check them? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna check them, right? So, but God really is real in my life. Like I said, things are happening because what happened at that church was the lady. I never got to that. The lady said she didn't know what to preach on, so she read the first chapter of Job. Then the girl that I said I think she had something attached to her would like reiterate what she said and put some force behind it. But then she was just like, once you pass these levels, you're gonna have, the demons. They're gonna sin even more, with even. And immediately after she said that, that's when my fanny pack got, all of that stuff. And I was even thinking because, and I, like I said, I'm not dependent on her like that because I was thinking thoughts about those people that was trying to use the bathroom in the laundry place too. I thought they stole some stuff, but no, my stuff because I found the pouch that I didn't know if I brought with me or not. It was at home, right? But my fanny pack definitely was stolen. It had my earbuds. Then I couldn't work out real good because, now that they have so many new members, it's hard. Like if you come between 5 and 8, and they have classes in the class. They have the hit sections, hit section over here is taken. Somebody's over in the mirror section, so I'll have to go over there in that corner. And if I don't have my earbuds on, I can't hear the music, and they're already joking or whatever. I can't hear the music, so now I'm really off beat, and I'm really off focus. So I do need that, and then also I let my spirit be kind of turned a little bit because, like I said, they took the funds. They bring them back, but still, had he not bothered me with what he bothered me with, I would have been at Walmart, got my earbuds. My thing would have been I would have went here. Why did I even come here? Oh, I would have charged my phone so I could purchase my buds, in my alternate way. I would have went to check for my mail, which I still haven't gotten, so I don't know what's going on there. Then I would have came back and worked out. I would have got my earbuds and came back and worked out. That I have to worry about. So, but again, if we walk worthy in the vocation which we call, like Ephesians says, and also if you walk in the authority of the investment that's made in us, we won't allow ourselves to be treated any kind of way. It doesn't mean that we're going to be big and bad and bully, but what it does mean is that we're going to take better care of ourselves because Christ lives in us. So it means that we are not going to not read contracts and sign just because they say sign, and they told you verbally that this is. And then she kept trying to convince me, oh yeah, it's in the notes somewhere. Nah, nah. So for me, I'm a quiet spirit. Everything needs to be in writing. you know, um, like I said, this is unusual for me to share here because I haven't shared here in a very long time. But that's what the study is about today: walking in the authority that was invested in you, which is the blood of Christ. Knowing that you carry Christ inside of you, knowing that that's how Christ is fully alive inside of you. And because you carry that, you have to walk in the authority, in the investment that was made for you. And you have to walk worthy of the vocation that you're called. And also, you have to make sure you have on a whole armor of God, the helmet of salvation to protect your mind, to make sure your mental health don't lose it when people is acting crazy up in here, right? Um, know that you're saved, and that's gonna keep you even killed. The breastplate of righteousness, knowing that what you're doing is from a point of righteousness, shield of faith, so that when people try to put doubt in you, you have that faith, sword of the spirit, you know, so you know that the word, so you have that to kind of anchor yourself on. Peace, feet shod with the gospel of peace, that you're walking in peace. Everything that you're doing is to promote peace, but again, don't be no fool, because you got the spirit of Christ living inside of you, right? Um, you're the belt of truth, right? So all of those things. And if you want to look at it from a worldly sense, when you're at home or whatever, make sure that you're mentally fit to be around other people? Have you done a self check? You had to rate yourself mentally. What would you give yourself? I would give myself an 8 right now because I understand what's going on. It's cool from a 1 to 10, right? Socially, are you ready to deal with people socially? Is your hygiene okay? So you're not blowing people away with your breath or your body odor, Um, are you able to put words together and stick to the point, you know? So socially, what would I give myself? I would give myself a 3. I'm still working on it. We're doing better. We're heading up towards the 4, which is good, right? Financially, God got me on that one, so I'm gonna leave that to God. But I think it's somewhere probably around a 4 because I'm doing okay, right? Right. Um, Spiritually, I give myself an 8. I'm a good person all the way, right? Um, so we did mental, physical. Physical, mm, I give myself a 6. I'm headed there. I'm working on it. I didn't have a good workout over the past couple of days because different things. Like I said, I need my earbuds because I can't, work out and not be distracted without my earbuds. And God forbid somebody should actually speak to me. It's just like, what? So I need my earbuds. And also, when it gets packed and I have to work out here, I can't hear what's going on. And also, I want to be respectful when I'm in the group fitness room. You know, People don't say anything, but I don't really. I'm sure they want to focus on their workout and not hear what I'm doing, right? So, like, yeah. So physically, I give myself a 6. I haven't had a good workout. I don't know if I'm gonna try to work out hard before I leave. This bike is not a workout for me, but I think I might try to get a little something in. This is for mental health too. Putting it out there. Um, because I know before if I didn't do this vlog today, I wouldn't want to work out hard because I would feel a certain type of way about everything that happened. But I need to, for my body, for my health, because this gut thing is, it's oh y'all can't see, but it's I don't necessarily want the pooch. I want it to be nice and firm, So I don't want it to be hard rock hard, but I would like to have firm and softness mixed together. So we need to work on it, but we'll see. I don't know. But again, um, some of the things I spoke about today, I talked about how, you go to church and there's so much wickedness and it seems like everybody's bound by that, but you can overcome it. The things that you go through, like I said today, where I could have done a better job at protecting the Christ in me. It's counted all joy because it's a lesson learned, right? And it'll get better. Just like working out. If I work out every day, no matter what I do, your body's gonna get better. You know, so if I make a conscious effort every day, to see when, I've perhaps compromised the Christ in me, um, it'll get better. So what seems impossible today will one day be your warm up. These things that I look at as mountains today, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I don't know what to call it when you like ingratiate yourself to someone for no reason, kowtowing, whatever, you know, you know, um, that'll be something to overcome because you'll realize the authority that you have invested in you through Christ, that Christ lives in you. And that's definitely something that you're willing to protect and stand on, and not allow yourself to be walked over or put yourself in a situation where you're ingratiating yourself to someone else for no reason. So, and again, one day that'll be my warm up. Every time I walk past or every time I interact with somebody, is going to be something from a graceful, loving point of view. Even if that person isn't based in grace, they will know that that's not how you're going to deal with me today. Right? So, anyways, I'd love to get your thoughts and opinions on that. If you have an opportunity, do scan the QR code. It does go to the mug. And, you can have a cup of that in the morning before you leave the house or while you're at work. So, when they, you know, just get you whatever you like, I'm going to stay saved, what seems impossible today will one day be your warm up. And that's a real testimony for me. Y'all know about that South Korean morning routine in the ballet, New York City Ballet. That's a big thing for me. But now I can do that by heart. So, and that's what got me upset this morning too. I was trying to at least finish the ballet. I couldn't get past the leg lifts because the computer kept messing up. But it's been going on pretty good now. So whatever's going on must have cleared up. Like I said, that's what's happening these days. something bad will happen, I'll have faith or I'll move on and don't get upset, and then somehow it'll fix itself. Doesn't mean that it's gonna be eternally fixed, but it's there. But I want to get back on track. Like I said, I want to finish the networking thing. I do definitely want to, bless the people that bless me. This air in here is getting to me, feeding the soul. I do want to do that, but I do also want to make those packages where if I go to visit churches and so forth and so on, that I'm able to give them out. My funds are a little different. Like I said, things may be happening like now, access to devices. Things are happening which are making me have to put a change in, a change that I don't want because I'm actually enjoying this lifestyle that I'm living. But, sometimes God has other plans. We'll see how it goes. But I actually like my lifestyle like this. Very, very low cost. Low cost. It's good for my body, good for my spirit. I still get the lessons learned. But we'll see. We'll see. But that is all that I have. I love you. Bye.